Hey guys, Nick from Tech House here. How you doing? Welcome to our first video. Shout out to Jenny from the community for encouraging me to do a tech channel. It's obviously something I'm very passionate about. And yeah, so what have we got here today, guys? So about a week ago, Buddy called me up and he said he wanted a new system, both as a bit of a workhorse, but also for gaming. He's been out of the scene for a very long time now. And I kind of encouraged him from going away from some pre-built systems. Not that there's anything wrong with going pre-built, but generally when you've got a friend like me who A, loves building computers, B, wants any opportunity to do it, and C, has the know-how, then it's a no-brainer. If you've got a specific budget, you'll almost always come out better off if you build your own. So anyway, let's go through the parts I've selected here and why. Now keep it in mind, this is actually the first AMD system I've built in the Ryzen era, or the Ryzen era. So to start off with, we're building around the 2700X. Now the 9900K is the king of the hill when it comes to gaming performance, and even workstation, it's competing with this. The truth is though, value for money, especially here in Australia, this is a no-brainer. This is an absolute beast of a processor, plus it comes with a cooler. Now we're not going to be doing any heavy overclocking on this, so there's no reason we can't use the air cooler on it, and it's actually really impressive. Very keen to get my hands onto the AMD, so we'll just put that to the side now. Motherboard wise, now this was actually the most confusing part. Looking at the different chipsets, you've got the B4 or whatever, and then I think this is the new one, the X470. So what I was reading is just the capacitor design on... It's so hot here in Australia. So I'm a big ASUS fanboy and Corsair. You might be able to pick that throughout this series. So it's AM4, which means it's going to be supported through to 2020, I believe. But yeah, so we got this a little bit for looks, but mainly for performance. I guess I know ASUS products. I know their BIOSes. I trust them, and it looks pretty nice. So look. You know, there's a lot of reviewers out there that, you know, oh, it's the details, and it is the details, but how a motherboard looks is so important in this day and age, so that's why we selected that. In the SSD front, we've got the 860. Yes, it's a SATA M.2, not an NVMe, but the truth is, for your average person, gamer, workstation, whatever, you're not going to notice the difference. We're talking about, you know, 10% differences. I made that up. I don't know if I'm right on that quote, but certainly, and it's the same sort of thing with the 3000 megahertz memory from Corsair. We've got the brand new white modules, white RGB, very nice. Looking forward to seeing these. I recently rebuilt one of my systems and have these modules, but in the black. So we've got those. Corsair power supplies. I normally go the HX or the AXs, but obviously we wanted to keep this within a reasonable budget. I've taken an antihistamine now, so hopefully my nose stops playing up. Corsair power supply. Gone through one of the basic models of the ASUS 2070s. I don't think there's any point, especially with Australian pricing at this time, to go anything less than a 2070 for a high-end graphics card. Very cool product. Can't wait to get that out of the box. Case-wise, do I have a knife? So let's open this up. Now, I'm a huge fan of the Leon Lee at the moment, the 011 case, but this was about $80 cheaper, so I used to like Corsair cases a lot. Now, when you open a case box, you want to be really careful with the knife, just because the case could be under there. Foam's normally pretty prevalent, but you can't guarantee it. Okay. Now, I want to maintain, normally I'd rip all these up, but the truth is, it's not mine, so I'm going to be a little more careful. Okay. So, if you're not familiar with it, this is the SPEC-06. I think it's a fairly new case on the market. It's the RGB edition. For $10 more, it's a no-brainer. Ooh. Just going to put this down. And getting cases out of the box, isn't it always the funnest part of doing anything? I'm actually going to tip it. Okay. This is a mid-ATX case. So, I don't think there's any compelling reason to go full ATX these days, maybe for airflow and stuff, but it turns out being such an inconvenience the majority of the time. Just trying to get this out of the phone. Get out of the case. Ah, yeah, that's a nice looking computer. So, what are we working with here? The first thing we want to do with the case is, this is tempered glass, I believe, yep. So we want to get that the hell away from our working. So there's nothing worse. Where's my screwdriver? Trojan. I think that's a brand of condoms or something in America. I don't know. Flip it around. So when doing tech, ratchet screwdriver, your best friend. So, looks like it's got flat head screws. They actually aren't on that tight. I can probably thumb them. We can. First screw lost. Great. So, I was saying the worst thing about tempered glass is when you buy a brand new case, I'm going to leave the plastic on the side, and you scratch it. I've done it before. It's the worst feeling in the world. I've put that somewhere safe. Okay, so we've got 2 Corsair fans. That'll be the basic ones, but that's fine for this kind of build. Quite a small area for there. That's fine too, though. I'm going to open up the back here. You know, so I think this was like, I don't know, 140 bucks maybe. So we're going to put that panel down there. Okay, so you've got 2 SSD cages down the back. Looks like you've also got an area for 3.5 drives. Good cable management options. This is an area where cases have gotten infinitely better in the past few years. You've got your I/O on top. Looks like you've got 2 USB 3s, headphone jack, microphone jack, reset button, and power. So no USB 3.1 or C rather, but that's alright, to be expected. Man, those cages look thin, hey? I don't know what cage would go into that. Either way, so there's the case we're working with. Pretty cool stuff. Like all Corsair cases, and indeed most manufacturers, you get a nice box of goodies. Let's see what we got. That's cool. They haven't put the same screws in as you would in a hard drive. Okay, so. Beautiful. Corsair's always pretty generous. Let's see what they've given us here. Got some, that's new. Got some tape. That's nice. Allen key. So, we'll be fine to build a computer with an Allen key. You've got an extra, look at this. Plastic baggie for, 1 motherboard standoff. Screws, 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 screws. Mate, they're not ashamed to give you a bunch of screws. So we're going to put that to the side. Now, if you're looking for a really flashy system and all that, this isn't the build to watch. This is really aimed at, you know, hey, I want to spend money on a good system, but I'm not going to waste money on RGB and stuff like that. Well, I say that, but look at the RAM we got. So, Corsair power supplies, always generally the same when you open them up, although I think they're diversifying. I think recently they've started getting to their own cables, so we'll have to see what they end up with. Okay, so we've got a power cable, brand newy, that's fine. Corsair, normally they've got a sticker. Yeah, they've got a sticker in there. We're not going to put that on the case. That's like leftover from the 90s. When I was a 15-year-old, I wanted my Athlon XP badge, I wanted my Corsair badge, I wanted every badge that I could get my name on, I wanted on my PC. Now it's a very clean aesthetic that people go for. So it is a modular power supply by the looks of this, which is awesome. Got some nice air in there. It smells like a fart. Throw that down there. And let's get the baby out. Beautiful. This is why I like Corsair. I mean, I'm sure it's the same with all manufacturers, but you know what you're going to get when you get a Corsair. Silent operation at low to moderate loads in this mode. Okay, cool. We know. Doesn't feel flat. It is flat. Nice. So I think this has the Japanese capacitors, all that sort of stuff. Those goodies. So there's our power supply. It is fully modular. So there you go. So for this build, well, let's get the graphics card out so we actually know. We'll get our RAM out as well. A lot of people think, I'm sure there'll be people there in the comments going, where's your static bracelet? I've never worn one. I've been building computers for 15 years maybe a bit more. Yeah, I was 12 I think when I built my first. There we go, beautiful, that white is sick. Very happy with that. The truth is I've never once hurt a PC component with static electricity. So, not to say that you should copy, but I'm not gonna worry about that, to be honest. Okay, this is my first RTX card that I've had my hands on actually. I haven't upgraded myself to the 2080 Ti. In Australia it came out at about $2,400, which, I mean, I've already got a 1080, so I don't know that it's that much of an improvement. Okay. Nice packaging from ASUS. Nothing over the top, just enough. And look at that, that's a 2070 and it is thick, man. Have a look at this. That is thick. It's quite a nice design for the budget range of graphics cards. It's only dual blade and that, but I think personally that's going to be fine. So get some power. So is it twin 8 or twin 6? It's a 6 and an 8, of course. That really irks me, you know. I kind of wish that they'd go dual 8s. I can't imagine it's that much more expensive for the manufacturer. But hey, what? Maybe I'm wrong. Okay, let's put that down here. It is hot in here. Okay, let's go to the processor now. So this is kind of the therapeutic way to do it, is you open all your parts and Bob's your uncle, as we say here in Australia. Who's your uncle overseas, guys? Let me know in the comments. Bob's your uncle seems to be the go-to in Australia. Okay, look at that. That's nice. That's the Wraith cooler. Haven't seen one in person. It's thick as well. I think our part selection's been pretty good here, guys. So, okay, what have we got here? That's the actual processor. Put the box down there. And let's have a look at this beast, eh? Nice. 2700X. So this is not their, I think Ryzen 3 will be out this year on the 7nm process, but for now these are pinned, aren't they? Let's have a look. They are. It's good to be back, AMD. It's good to be back. So we'll put that down, we'll leave that there. What we're waiting for is the motherboard. Let's have a look at this. So, I'm just going to pull it out for you because you probably won't be able to see anything. There. You don't get much in the way of cables with this. So, I'm going to pull this out. That is going to be loud on camera. And there we go, here it is. Quite a nice looking board. Real nice looking board actually. Not very hefty. It does have an integrated IHS plate. That's cool. You don't see that on cheaper motherboards always. Quite nice. You do have a Type-C on the back here, HDMI integrated, but there is no integrated on the 2700X, I don't think. Enough USBs. PS2, that's kind of cool. So, probably, what are we going to start with, guys? I think we should get the processor out of the way and just get that in there. So, I haven't done one of these yet, so we're going to lift the retention panel. So that lifts up and it separates the plastic and the pins. So, you can actually see, boom, boom, see how it's slightly, you probably won't be able to see it on camera, but it shifts it slightly, so that's kind of cool. So we're going to do that, and then we're also going to look where the M.2 goes. there's one of the areas. So for those of you who haven't seen M.2s, look at the size of this. So this is what storage is now held on quite commonly. You've got the green PCB, which is a bit unfortunate, but it ain't the end of the world. So it looks like the M.2's down here. Gonna throw it in that bottom one, I think. Why would it do that? It wants its own standoff. Fair enough. And we're going to drop this processor in here as well. So you really don't want to bend those pins. That's kind of the one thing with AMD CPUs. So, triangle to triangle, dust to dust. There appears to be a triangle there, but I'm not so sure that's correct. Of course, you should always consult the manual. But, I think that's right. So we're going to push the tension bar down. Looks good to me. So we're going to look at the parts that came with the motherboard. And here's that flaming standoff I was telling you about. Now, I've tried to order an iFixit kit for, I don't know, maybe 6 times now. But they seem impossible to get in Australia. Oh God, the screws are on the ground. That's a shame. It's all good. We've got extras here. So, doing this PC building, if you don't know, guys, iFixit kits are absolutely sick. So I think it goes on the longest one here. So we're going to screw that down. And this is an extra standoff. So it just provides extra height for the M.2. I actually don't know why they've not got this standard in there. Like, everything I can see here is going to require a standoff anyway. So now let's throw that down there. Okay, that looks good. And then we just need 1 screw, which I think we dropped 2. So 1, yep, we've got 1. Sweet. Jeez, they're small, hey? But, so Stanley, great. I don't know if they're an Australian brand, but when you can't get an iFixit kit, this is what you've got to deal with. If anyone from iFixit ever sees this video, please send me one of your kits. I'm happy to pay for it. But not magnetized. See? Not magnetized. Come on. Now, the one thing I see people constantly, even some YouTubers do it, is they treat PCs like they're going to break tomorrow. These things are pretty sturdy, guys. You don't need to worry. Experiment a bit. All that jazz. This is a pain in the ass. Come on. Okay. There we go. Whew. Solder M.2 is in. So, I think we'll do the cooler next before the RAM. So, we're going to move to the case. So, we're going to put the motherboard over here for a minute. Let's get the graphics card out of the way. So, we're going to want this case. Let's put the power supply in. So it looks like it's bottom mounted and actually hidden by this panel. That's really cool. I like that from Corsair. That's sick. So we'll grab our trusty screwdriver and try to make sense of what we've got here. So we're going to want these 4 screw holes here, where this is basically. Fan down, fan up, fan down, because they've got airway for it. And we're gonna... Now you'll find most power supplies are just gonna sit in place correctly. I've always done my power supply mounting with, I call them fat head screws. Someone told me I was wrong the other day to do that, but I don't care. So when I say fat head, I mean these ones. I'll try to get a nice close up for you. So they're slightly risen. So, gonna need 4. And what I like to do is, sometimes it's hard to see the holes. I've got it the wrong way around, of course. And screw. That's 1 in. 2's enough, but I like to get all 4 if we can. But in saying that, we might have to actually loosen that slightly till we've got all of them in. There's 2 in. 3 in. We're going for number 4, guys. Don't like our odds. Let's try one more thing. Yeah, I think that might get it. Okay, now we can tighten them all up, and Bob is our uncle. So often I'd flip onto the front, but because this has a decorative front, just approaching things from different angles is always a good idea. 1, 2, ha ha ha. 3. Ha ha ha. You don't have to make them so tight that you break your wrist, guys, but just enough to hold it in. So, voila. In terms of the cable management back here, I'm just going to undo some of the cords and cables. We'll route them how we want to once we've actually set up the computer. So we just want to see what we've actually got here. This is where it could be good to have a cameraman because, well, I might actually adjust the camera here, guys, just to give you an idea of what I'm doing. How will I balance a camera? Okay, sorry if my audio has changed, guys. I'm actually using my microphone stand to do this part of the video, so we're just going to slowly place that down. Oh god, it's a tight fit. Because this case is white as well, we want to be really careful not to scratch anything. Okay, cool. Wow, that is a super tight fit. Nothing wrong with a tight fit though, guys. That's absolutely a-okay. Now, again, which screws you use, people are going to have different opinions. I personally like these little flat ones. This camera is not that great compared to the phone that I was using, so give that a go. So, 1. Oh no, this isn't going to work. They're too deep. 1. That's true. It works fine. No worries. You'll actually see there's like little metal pins where the screw goes. That's actually ground pins. That's absolutely fine for them to go onto that. So that's 2. Normally there's 9. But in this one, I mean, I can see 9. Cool. That's going to drop out, isn't it? This is a nightmare. Oh god, it dropped out. It's not the most obnoxious, but you just got to be careful when retrieving these. Because you really don't want to push off a capacitor or something like that. Bit of blue tack could go a long way here. Is blue tack a universal? Is that a bloody clothes tag? Oh my god. What? The standoff literally goes inside it. Holy shiver me timbers. So what you're seeing here is some of the pro strats of, well, Carnage. Again, it doesn't matter if you miss some of these holes. I'm just a stickler for getting it in the hole, I guess. Oh god, there's another screw on the motherboard. Gotta keep your fluids up when you're building a computer. Many people would say don't do it while you're on top of the computer, but whatever, we're fine. So probably the cooler's up next. So, so let's have a look what we're dealing with here. Now you could read the instructions, but that would be kind of boring. It looks like this retention system here, this is not that old. Like this is similar to the old AMD coolers, I think, that came with the Athlons and stuff. You got like a wedge system here. Oh, that's pretty cool. Let's just get this mounting bracket on, hey? We want AMD at the top, so There, that's how we're going to want it. So, okay, that's one side of it. Carefully place heatsink on processor, place over retention cooler. That is the old cooler, you annoying... Oh god, I did it. Okay, it's flipped over and it's nice and tight now. There we go. Well, I did it. And we want the CPU fan one header. CPU fan, so... I like how they braid their cables on the cooler, that's cool. Now, we'll worry about cable management shortly, but for now, that's fine. Wow, there's not a lot of space for the 4-pin CPU connector. Let's go ahead and put our RAM in as well. Now, depending which motherboard you have, because we want this running in dual channel, and there's 4 slots, so these modules are actually pretty heavy. So, does it actually have them labelled anywhere? To install RAM, you're going to want to pop, normally they're 2 sides, or they used to be at least, DIMM B1, A1, A2. So, we're going to go closest to the processor. Heat's not going to be too much of a concern here. And what I see is a lot of people make when they make their first PC, they make the mistake of putting them next to each other. You don't want to do that. There you go. So you'll hear it clicking, you've got to put a bit of pressure in. You know what? I'd rather them on the outside. There we go. So they're installed as well now too. So before we put the graphics card on, we're going to want to take off any plastic. That's a nice peel. Oh, look at that. I don't know if you'll be able to see it on camera. You definitely won't. Don't worry about it. If you want to know why people in tech don't cut their fingernails, this is why. There we go. Got this weird ROG tag thing. I don't know, it's kind of cool. Fail. Done. So first thing we're going to do is measure it up for this hole. So it's going to be the second and the third, which is normal, but different cases have kind of different arrangements. So it's best to check these things. Now, you want to save these. Trust me, you'll get a box of about 100 of them after a few years and you just will never use them again. But save them just in case. This one's clipped. There you go. It's clipped on by the one below it. More of that peel sex appeal. Now, if you want your system to have sex appeal, oh yeah. Don't forget to take this off. Don't try to ram it in. This is a protector for the PCI Express slot. So you're going to want to take that off. And what have we got here? Dual RTX 2070 8G. I reckon this black and white is fitting of the system super well. So I'm going to try to shove that down there. Okay, boom. And we're going to want to secure that because these are freaking heavy. I'm telling you guys, they are freaking heavy compared to old oh god, I've already nearly lost the screw. Come on, magnet! Oh, you bloody stupid magnet. Fairly typical for a case to not line up correctly with the holes in the graphics card. I'm telling you, this industry, margins of centimeters, man. They are margins of centimeters. This is looking nice. Okay, this is where you start to get a bit excited about your build. And you go, okay, the parts I picked actually look really good together. Okay. Boom. So, let's recap, guys. First thing we did is put the power supply in, which is behind this slot here. Then the processor, which is underneath this Wraith cooler. We then installed the cooler. Then we put the RAM in. Now we've made sure they're the dual channel slots, that's fine. Then we've got the RTX 2070, and we've also got our SSD, which is where we'll put our operating system. Now, this is interesting about the Wraith cooler for its LEDs and that. I'm going to take that's cool, AMD. They've given us a black rubber band around the cable. Yeah, why is AMD able to make such nice cables, but companies like Intel refuse to? It's just like, it's that little bit of extra detail that I really like. So that's a USB header. So that would be for controlling the Wraith, and then we've got the RGB as well, which, you know what? I don't even know if this motherboard's got an RGB. It's got 3.1. That's cool. Yeah, it's got a header. Cool. Around the card, down around and under maybe. I don't know. They're pretty long cables to the credit of AMD. The question is, where do they go in the Wraith cooler? Got a 4-pin and a 3-pin, and I suspect it's in here. Yeah, there's the 4-pin. I should just take the graphics card out. That's what I should flip and do. But no. So currently there's 2 gaps here. That looks hella good, guys. I'm freaking stoked. You know what? I'm stoked with my selection. I think we're gonna have to do it. Graphics card out. This is probably a lesson I haven't learnt in all the years of doing tech. Is that it's better to give yourself the room to work with instead of sitting there frustrated all day. Dude, that is cool design. The Wraith has a really sick design, guys. I'm actually a massive fan of it. That's super cool. The problem is this case. So what have we got? RGB on this side, I think. No, this is a USB header. We could come out right, I think. Probably is going to be the way we're going to do this. And try to come up the bottom here. Is probably going to be our attack route. You're always going to have cables in computers, guys. It's getting better than ever, but you're still going to have them. So it's not about hiding them necessarily. It's about just making sure they're as neat as possible. So we might even, you know, let's see what length we've got first. Hopefully that's in front of the motherboard. Hey, I can see on the camera. That's cool. Yeah, sweet. No, they've given us plenty of length. I love good length. That actually, it might not work. Often you'll need a converter. Plenty of USB headers. That's the thing with, you get your top end motherboards now, guys. As you'll see in an upcoming build I'm doing as well, your top end motherboards sometimes lack functionality that these cheaper products do, which is bloody annoying, eh? 2 PCI Express cables, awesome. 4-pin CPU, great. What is that? Cool, Corsair. Real cool. Corsair does the thing, I don't know if all manufacturers do, I only use Corsair power supplies, but that's the end that's going to go into the power supply. So it's about getting this, should be about up here, I don't know. Yep, it's about right. And it's bloody bent the wrong way. That is just stupid. Okay, that 24-pin is in. But as you can see, it's absolutely massacred. It's absolutely massacred the cable management. That's disgusting. I'm not happy with that at all. I think it almost looks better if it goes down there at this point. Normally I'd tuck that away. That's an ugly cable. There's no doubt about that in my mind. That is a really ugly way to do the cable management. Okay, let's try this CPU now. So what we're going to want to do is unwind here. How we're going to manage this one, I'm not sure. With the motherboard in there already. With that RGB header, by the way, guys, RGBs are made up of red, green, blue, as the name suggests, and then you've also got black or white light. I don't really know, actually. I don't know why I'm trying to inform you of things I don't know about myself, but my point that I'm trying to make is that... What is this? Well, that's alright. We can use that one cable. That'll do. That'll do, pig. That'll do. And we're going to use that one out the bottom as well. So now it's time to install this again. It's actually a super nice looking graphics card. The case helps as well though. Like, it all just really comes together quite nice actually. Okay, now we're gonna need fan headers for these fans. I just don't know what we're meant to do with this atrocious cable, to be honest. I can say with some confidence that that was the worst experience of having to plug in cables into a power supply I've ever had. And what we're going to do is we're just going to cable tie these nice and tight, close to each other. And let's just make it nice and tight. And then feed it down there. I think no matter how we approach this, we're going to have some issues with this. I'm giving this case a ton of positive feedback. Power supply putting cables in is just effing stupid. I think it's because of the 3.5mm cage. What have we got coming out of the bottom? So let's get our fans in first, I think. So we've got two fans, two case fans. So you could get yourself a header that makes it all neat down the back. We've got a fan there, and we've got a top one. I think that's probably the go. We should probably plug in our CPU first though, I think. So if it's not power management, it's only going to be 3 pins. It's normally the top 3, but there'll be a plastic guide always for you so that you're not confused. So if you're wondering how these buttons on top of your computer work, it's these little things here. Often with newer motherboards or more expensive ones, I guess, it comes with a thing where you can guide it on. We've actually got here power switch, reset switch, and then you got your power LED. That's all. Normally there can also be activity for hard drives, stuff like that. Not important. Where are we going to bring them out? There's actually a ton of headers all over this motherboard. This is a great motherboard, I've got to say. Now, truth be told, so here's this LED header that we can't use because the flaming system didn't come with what it was meant to. If that's right, we'll contact the supplier and that would be corrected. That ain't an issue. This is more for pride in it, right? I mean, you can't even see these, but pride as well as just, well, no, really all it boils down to is pride. It's good to have a nice clean case out back. So cable ties are your friend. If you don't like these overhangs, you can certainly clip them, and you want to use all of the cable ties. The more the merrier. It sucks when you have to break down the computer. Now, normally you do a power on cycle, but for a simple build, this is actually taking a lot longer than I anticipated. So I'm just gonna have faith that that I've done it right, basically. Maybe because these are fat. Body shame the computer, Nick. What are you doing? Maybe because these are fat, we'll do 2. No, I reckon we're going to be okay. Boom. I couldn't find my model clippers, but scissors work just as well. Keeping in mind not to cut any of the wires. I haven't done it yet, but one day it could happen. That neatens it all up. These lanky ones, look, yeah, I'm gonna have to do something with those. It's pissing me off. So we check all our connectors before we put the back plate back on. That looks pretty good to me. Now, the harm in this always as well, there's no way for us to connect that front panel at the moment, but I'll give you an update on that. So you put your weight on either side, push forward, there you go, that should be locked in. Cables have sat alright. I think that looks alright, guys. What do you think? Focus! It's not going to focus, that's right. Let's go back to the other camera. We might just throw a power cable in there now to see that it looks like it starts normally. Make sure our switches have been done correctly. I can move that away now. We're doing more top down. Hey, you can see the motherboard's lit up and boom. Wraith is on, RAM is on. Has the graphics card got power? We will see. I stuffed it. guys, this has been a Spectre-06 build. It's for one of my buddies. He's asked me to make this for him, and I jumped at the opportunity, and it is our first episode of Tech House. Nice case. It's a beautiful case. The only problem is the cable management down the bottom for the power supply. In general, the cable management is very good, but the power supply was super tricky. The other part which is a bit disappointing is obviously the RGB attachment didn't come with it, so I'm going to have to get in touch with the supplier and hope they can send me a new one. All in all, it's about a $2,500 build in Australia, I believe. Yeah, so that's that. Guys, make sure if you haven't already, smash that like, hit subscribe. I've got 2 more builds coming up, hopefully in the next week. So we'll be doing a server build, a file server for home use, as well as a gaming and workstation rig as well, but a little more upmarket. There's a 26.6 one. All in all, what can I say? The parts I'm so stoked with. I think the build looks great. Hopefully you agree. And I'll catch you guys next time.